In today's news, Governor PRUCE lauds teamwork and notes 5 outstanding actions for the COI. Premier thanks public and officials as focus shifts to UK's response. Two-way Main Street proposed to ease road town congestion, and TURNBULL-STOUTT is the first to receive a boosted Centenarian grant. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
At Higher BVI, we're not just about business. We're about empowering lives, and that is because we aspire to inspire. By choosing us, you're supporting a company that believes in equal opportunities, diversity, and community growth. Our mission goes beyond profit. It's about providing HR solutions, fostering talent, and leaving a positive impact. Join us in building a better future, a better BVI. Choose Higher BVI, where your support isn't just a transaction, it's a transformation. Together, we're changing lives in these beautiful Virgin Islands.
Yo, everything good there?
Aye. This thing got me one way, daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I watching ball. I even watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome viewers to the Friday, May 9th edition of 284 News. I am Jacques Wooding, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us. Governor Daniel PRUCE today published the final review of the COI implementation along with a public feedback report. Governor PRUCE hosted a press conference where he stated that the government is yet to fully deliver on all of the recommendations as there remain 5 outstanding areas needing attention. However, PRUCE said he has provided an objective assessment, noting that the cross-government effort that has gone into the process that has been achieved, particularly in recent months, has been extremely laudable. He believes there has been commitment across the board to move things forward.
I'd also, I think, reflect, as I sought to state in my opening remarks, that where we are now is with 5 recommendations of those original 48, which for differing reasons are not yet fully completed. But as we've noted, 2 of those, for many, many months now, we've recognized were going to have to be delayed for reasons beyond our control. So that was the question of the judge-only trials and the criminal procedure rules. A third, in relation to vetting, so sitting within my responsibility, we've made good progress, even this week, by launching the vetting of our VIPF officers. But we've got a bit further to go with the vetting of the other officers identified in the COI report, so prisons, customs, immigration. So we're not quite there yet on that one. Immigration, the amendment to the amendment just come to me for assent. I've just assented to it. So that hopefully will enter into force very soon. So not far off there. Public assistance, I know the ministry are working hard to put in place the regulations to enable that change of legislation to become a reality. Formally, at the moment, it hasn't yet entered into force. So I linger on that in some detail because I think it's important to understand that within that headline figure of 5, there is quite a lot of detail which is very relevant, which gives a sense of how close we are to progressing in each of those 5.
A sticking point among legislators in the Virgin Islands is the recommendation for additional powers to be afforded to the governor, which was clearly outlined by the previous governor, John Rankin. However, when questioned on the issue at today's press conference, Governor PRUCE had a different take on it, saying he based his response on what he personally experienced since serving here.
When my predecessor was here, it was a different context, different environment, and he would have made his own judgments, which obviously I respect. Based on my time in this role, and in particular based on the work that I've been engaged in relation to the Commission of Inquiry, it seems to me, it's clear to me that where we have been most successful in delivering recommendations, in making progress, has been in those areas where we have, and I'm happy to say this is the rule rather than the exception, been able to achieve a very deep level of collaboration and partnership across all partners involved. My office, Office of the Premier, individual ministries, people outside of government have a strong interest as well. So that for me has been the most effective additional power, if you want to call it that. It's really achieving that sense of collaboration and partnership. And as you'll recall, over the course of last year, we put quite a bit of structure into that partnership. We established a single working unit where representatives from my office, representatives from the Premier's office could sit together and work through the detail of the particular recommendations. And that really drove progress. We had a joint reporting cycle, we had joint meetings. Even the action plan that we signed off in the spring of last year was one that we sent back to the UK jointly. So in my experience, that's what made the biggest difference. So, in drafting this review and looking back at that previous period of very productive working over many months, it seems to me that that's the secret for continued success in this space, rather than additional powers for the governor. So, that's my proposition contained in the report that's going back to London. And obviously the Minister, Secretary of State, will consider that alongside all the other information that's being provided to them.
The governor stated that he has had a very good working relationship with Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley. He said they wouldn't be here today without that. Meanwhile, the government of the Virgin Islands has officially marked its implementation of the Commission of Inquiry recommendations as completed. Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley made the announcement and addressed the public to that end during a press conference on Friday.
I'm pleased to welcome everyone to this press conference to provide you with an update on the completion and submission of the Government of the Virgin Islands Self-Assessment Report on the Commission of Inquiry. You'll recall that the Minister for the Overseas Territories visited the Virgin Islands on the 4th through the 6th of November 2024 and requested a self-assessment report from the government. This report, along with the Governor's final review and FCDO review of specific recommendations and submissions from the public, would be assessed to determine whether the order in council to partially suspend the Constitution of the Virgin Islands would be lifted. You would have heard the Governor's press conference this morning, where he presented his final review of the implementation of the Commission of Inquiry recommendations. I thank Governor PRUCE for what I believe is a balanced report in which we are aligned for the most part.
Premier Wheatley confirmed that the final self-assessment report was submitted to the UK Overseas Territories Minister on May 8th. Wheatley acknowledged the difficult path, recalling the Virgin Islands had stood on the brink of losing more than 7 decades of self-governance.
It is little over 3 years ago that the COI report was published in the Virgin Islands on the 29th April 2022. History will mark that date as the beginning of a transformational journey of governance change for the Virgin Islands. Today, I can announce with a strong sense of Virgin Islands pride that the significant milestone of submitting the Government of the Virgin Islands Self-Assessment Report on the implementation of the recommendations of the COI report. This report was approved by the Cabinet on the 30th April 2025 and tabled in the House of Assembly on the 6th of May. It was sent to the OT Minister yesterday, 8th of May, when it was shared with the public, along with a statement that I made in the House of Assembly yesterday. The government's report, along with the governor's final review of specific recommendations by FCDO officials, and submissions from the public are all now with the OT Minister for his consideration, with a view to making a recommendation on whether to lift the order in council now that the framework agreement has been completed.
The report's submission completes the framework agreement established in 2022, outside of two outstanding external matters. The Premier also outlined the next steps forward.
You would be aware that there are two recommendations that require external actions, namely judge-only trials, which require a constitutional amendment, and criminal procedure rules, which require the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court to make the amendment. Outside those items I just mentioned, we have completed the 48 recommendations in accordance with the framework agreement. We are mindful that the recommendations implemented are only as useful as the positive impact they have on the people they intend to help. In this regard, we proactively proposed a governance reform transition plan at the end of 2024 and have been working in collaboration with the governor and his team to ensure it provided a bridge between the implementation of the COI recommendations and ongoing governance reform. This plan was formally approved by Cabinet on the 30th of April 2025. Our governance reform transition plan sets out the details of how we will implement the 10 policies and 18 pieces of legislation within the ranks of the public service and educate the people of the Virgin Islands on the impacts of changes and how they can make use of the changes. You have seen various media and press information on the actions we are taking to implement the recommendations and the various public education activities. We are 100% committed to ongoing reforms, as doing so strengthens our self-government mandate in our Constitution.
Of the 48 recommendations, all have been completed or are in progress pending external actions. Two key legislative acts, the Passport Amendment Act and the Public Assistance Amendment Act, will take effect, by July 1st, 2025.
In terms of the final pieces of legislation to enter into force, the Passport Amendment Act 2024 and the Public Assistance Amendment Act 2024 will come into force on the 1st of July. These two pieces of legislation will come into force by the 30th of June. These two pieces of legislation, along with Crown Land Management Act 2024, which is in force, are very significant pieces of legislation as they have very significant impacts on the public due to the major changes we enacted. Both acts require regulations that will be adopted by Cabinet shortly. We recognize also that education is a critical part of successfully implementing these two pieces of legislation. We have prepared special brochures that explain the changes in plain language. These are available at the respective offices where the services are administered and downloadable from the governance reform section of the government's main website.
Premier Wheatley expressed deep gratitude to civil servants, cabinet colleagues, the governor, the UK government, and most importantly, the people of the Virgin Islands. And viewers, with that, we take a quick word from our sponsors. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny Boy, congestion.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny Boy. Hold on. You must have cut fun to people.
It's okay. I'll take care of it.
What? No man, protect you.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. It is alleged that a male student at the Elmore-Stout High School physically assaulted a female teacher after she questioned his behavior in the hallway at the school's campus. The incident reportedly occurred when the student passed between two teachers having a conversation. When addressed about the behavior, he became aggressive and punched the female teacher multiple times in the upper body before walking away. The assault was witnessed by others and captured on CCTV. Police were later called to the scene. Sources say the student has known mental health challenges and may have missed treatment, noting that the behavior was out of character for him. The teacher received medical attention and an investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, this year's Victoria's Secret soiree is doubling in size and impact, expanding from a Saturday brunch to a full weekend of women's wellness experiences focused on mind, body, soul, and sisterhood. Led by First Lady Chandria Turnbull of the Cane Garden Bay Baptist Church and the Victorious Women's Small Group, the annual event aims to offer a safe, faith-infused space for women to connect, share, heal, and grow.
It actually evolved from back in the day when we used to do prayer breakfast. And so it evolved to a lunch and then a brunch, and now we have a full weekend. We had so much feedback over the last few years that ladies had more topics. They wanted to digest the information in a longer period of time. In our previous venues, they were all outdoors, so it got a little hot.
Yeah.
We're beautiful, but we were sweating, we were glistening. And so this year we're actually at R&R Malone Building in Pockwood Pond. In case you don't know, it's next to the DMV if you're in Tortola. Yes. And so we have a new location. It's a weekend. So we have our signature soiree event on the Saturday, which is May 31st. But we also have a ladies' night, a girls' night on the Friday, May 30th. And that's about happy hour style. So it's like 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then, of course, the soiree 10 a.m. on the Saturday to 2 p.m.
All right. Now, what a weekend of activities.
Yes.
Definitely something to look forward to at the end of the month. Now, let's talk theme.
Okay.
Because the theme, I think last year was Queen Vibes.
Yes, Queen Vibes.
So this year we're on to relationships.
Relationships.
Yeah.
Have to do a little dance with it.
Relationships.
Yes. And so our theme for this year is shift, mind, body, soul. But as women, we have all kinds of relationships that we deal with, whether it is a relationship with our mind and our mental health. May happens to be Mental Health Awareness Month as well. Whether it's with our bodies and how we look, how we feel, how we experience life, our spiritual, our souls, and, our faith, where is that? Doesn't matter if you go to church or not, but, that sense of faith and that sense of grounding.
The weekend begins with Shine and Unwind, a girls' night out on Friday, May 30th, followed by the signature soiree brunch on Saturday, May 31st at the R&R Malone Complex. Attendees can expect honest conversations, empowerment sessions, and giveaways.
I like to say yes, it is sponsored by the Victorious Women's Small Group at the church, but it's not a churchy event. So, sometimes with churchy events, like you say, you think that you're going to sit down there and just going to, no, we have real talk. And that's the power of it, really. Victoria's Secrets came from sometimes, we as women, we suffer in silence because we are trying to be strong. We are trying to be the ones who are taking care of everybody else. And sometimes, we leave ourselves behind, on the back burner. And a lot of people actually suffer with secrets, whether it's family secrets, generational secrets that they're going through, and it eats them up inside. And I personally, I believe in women's health and holistic health. I don't want us as women to suffer, so it's negatively impacting our health and our body keeps score. And over time, all types of autoimmune diseases and things like that. Not only that, I'm not a doctor, but I have seen it, I've experienced it, and I've researched where when we're suppressing so much early on in life, it impacts us later on. So this environment with the Victoria's Secrets Weekend hopefully provides that safe space in that environment, but also you can learn from other women who've gone through it.
Yeah.
Like, we're breaking down the myths, and you mentioned that, like, we're talking about the things that people don't usually talk about, but are so helpful for us to just be able to walk around the world just knowing that we're having value and that we're not going through each day alone.
Tickets are available for both individual events and weekend packages, starting at $55 for Friday, $85 for Saturday, and $125 for the full weekend.
You can contact me if you have my contact information, message me on Instagram or, anywhere on social media. Contact a woman from the church. You can also call 284-442-4222. If you see the flyer, there's a QR code, and just take your phone, just scan it, and then they can go right to the registration, and it has all of the information there. Again, it's a weekend event. So Friday, May 30th is what we're calling Shine and Unwind. So shine and unwind. You can see I'm a little sparkly today.
Yes.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit, because we want women to express and embrace their inner radiance. I always talk about being a light. And so the theme is Sparkle and Shine for the whole weekend, as big or as small as you want. If you want to go full out with sequin, that's perfectly fine. Or if you just want to do a simple shine of an earring or a necklace, whatever. I want to say whatever makes you comfortable, but actually, I want you to step outside of your comfort zone. Step outside of your comfort zone. And that's what this weekend is all about as well.
Turnbull closed the interview with an invitation to any women who may be feeling lost, broken, or burnt out.
If you are looking for, even if you don't know if you're looking for it, but you just feel like, man, I want something different. I want to do something different. I'm having this tough time in my life. Nobody knows about it. I'm not sure if I'm going to share, but at least I want to try to learn some tools, how I can get over this, how I can get through this, how I can start to feel that, I'm not defeated, that I still have value, that, I can still walk around with dignity, even if I'm going through a rough patch, or even though life is really hard right now. I want you to come out. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be inspired. I want you to be empowered, but also I want you to come so you can have some practical tips, some tools to add to your toolkit so you can be able to, succeed in this world. That's the ultimate goal, and to get closer to ourselves, get closer to God, and get closer to other people.
The full interview is available on all 284 media platforms. And viewers, with that, we take a quick word from our sponsors. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Pop the Balloon or Find the Connection. Let's meet our first contender, ladies. Okay, Joey, so do you have any toxic traits?
I'm very restrictive. I don't give more time. What you get is what you get. I don't like to give unlimited time. That's it.
Okay. Can you tell us why you popped your balloon?
That's a little too restricted for me.
Thank you for coming. Okay, ladies, so let's meet our second contender.
Sorry, excuse me. Why did you pop a balloon? I could give you minutes, data, unlimited call, overseas call, fiber. What else you need?
My friend used to date you. You are scam. She used to pay for everything and more. Nothing to offer.
Okay, ladies, let's welcome our last contender. You look nice. Can you tell us your name?
Thank you. My name is Christian Charles Thomas. They call me C Sweetie.
What do you have to offer these ladies?
Well, security, trust, unlimited time, and I'm pretty fast.
Okay, so do you have any deal breakers?
Nah, but here's my number. 444-4444. 444. Y tú, vida ilimitada.
Okay, guys, so no pop balloons.
For a fast, reliable, and secure connection for your personal or business life, call us at 444-4444 or visit any of our CCT stores and we'll get you connected with the perfect match for you.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with news that to address the issue of traffic congestion in Road Town, Minister for Communications and Works, the Honorable Kai Reimer, intends to introduce two-way traffic in Upper Main Street. In a statement to the House of Assembly on Thursday, Minister Reimer said the initiative is part of the government's continued commitment to improving and enhancing mobility across the city center. He stated that the Road Town traffic turnaround has resulted in noticeable improvements in traffic flow and access across several areas of Road Town. However, Reimer says with any system-wide change, there remain pockets of congestion, particularly during peak hours.
One such area is the junction of Fleming Street and Fishlock Road, where we have observed recurring backups during morning and afternoon rush hour periods. Our traffic engineers have reviewed the data thoroughly and have determined that additional relief measures are necessary to reduce strain on this corridor. Mr. Speaker, it is worth noting that at the time of the 2020 turnaround, there were just over 17,350 licensed vehicles operating in the Virgin Islands. As of December 2024, that number has grown to approximately 19,500 vehicles. This sharp increase in vehicle ownership has placed additional pressure on existing road infrastructure and further reinforces the need for strategic, forward-looking solutions. To provide an effective alternative route that complements the existing one-way system in Road Town, the ministry will be implementing a two-way traffic configuration along Upper Main Street. Specifically, this change will apply to the stretch between the Road Town Methodist Church at Joes Hill and the intersection of Main Street and Fleming Street near the E.A. Creaky building. That is the Road Town Methodist Church Cemetery at Joes Hill. This adjustment is aimed at easing congestion within the Road Town area, particularly, as I mentioned, during morning inflows and evening outflows of traffic.
Reimer believes by opening this section of Main Street to two-way traffic, motorists will have a more direct and flexible route through the northern edge of the city, helping to redistribute traffic volumes more evenly throughout the network. In other news, Esme Estine TURNBULL-STOUTT has become the first Virgin Islander to receive the newly increased $10,000 Centenarian grant after reaching the age of 100. The previous grant was $5,000. The cabinet approved the increase in recognition of the territory's growing senior population and their invaluable contributions to society. Health and Social Development Minister Vincent Wheatley praised TURNBULL-STOUTT's milestone, calling it a testament to her resilience and lifelong dedication to family, community, and the development of the Virgin Islands. He commended the Social Development Department for its efforts in honoring centenarians, stressing the importance of helping seniors live longer and better. And viewers, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com, like us on Facebook at 284media, and 284BVI on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. And be sure to scan the QR code on your screen to join our WhatsApp channel. I'm Jacko Wooding, and I'll see you again soon, so have yourself a safe and enjoyable evening. Goodbye.